This match, a tag team match, one fall in a 10-minute time limit. Introducing first the NWA World Tag Team Champions. First of all, weighing 268 pounds, the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. And his partner weighing 250 pounds, the Raging Bull, Manny Fernandez. Their opponents in the yellow corner, first of all, weighing 302 pounds, Jeff Sword. And his partner weighing 250 pounds, Doug Vines. Your referee is Tommy Young. One fall, 10 minutes.
Welcome to Pro Wrestling USA. I'm Gordon Sola, your host at ringside, and we are now in the class of the 80s. The World Tag Team Champions, the Raging Bull, Manny Fernandez, and the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, taking on a combination of Jeff Sword and Doug Vines. That's the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes out there now against Vines, and it's Rhodes bringing him up a full body slam. Now, here comes Manny Fernandez. Remember, both of these men out of West Texas State. Sword caught and dropped to the canvas by the Raging Bull. You talk about perpetual motion, you'll find it in this team, this combination of Dusty Rhodes, the American Dream, and Manny Fernandez. We'll be seeing, as we said, the World Tag Team Champions in action right now. We're going to be seeing the AWA World Champion. We're going to be watching Wahoo McDaniel, the U.S. Heavyweight Champion, also NWA World Heavyweight Champion Ric Flair, MidAtlantic Tag Team Champions, the NWA Television Champion, the Universal Heavyweight Champion, all of these today here on Pro Wrestling USA. Good teamwork there between Manny Fernandez and Dusty Rhodes, and it's a quick pinfall, inverted press by the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes scoring the pinfall. So Manny Fernandez and Dusty Rhodes, the American Dream, the World Tag Team Champions, making short work indeed of their opponents. And we'll be back with more action in just a moment.
Wrestling Illustrated, the world's #1 wrestling magazine, presents Press Conference.
Today on Press Conference, one of the most devastating teams in the entire world, Ivan and Nikita Koloff. First of all, the question that comes to mind, you people are always putting down the United States. Why do you stay here and take United States money? Why do you, why do you stay here? Why don't you just go home?
It's very simple. We want to get all the American money we can. Not that we need it, because we get rubles from Mother Russia. But we come over to this country to prove that we are the #1 team, and to do that, we have to defeat World Tag Team Champions.
Okay, now, at all your matches, the fans seem to be chanting USA, USA. What do you think USA stands for? In your minds, what does it stand for?
Underprivileged, stupid Americans.
Oh, come on. Underprivileged, stupid Americans. Does it bother you?
Right.
Does it bother you when the fans chant USA?
Sure it bothers us, and this is why they do it, too. They come out and yell, USA, wave their flags, try to upset us, so break our concentration, so we cannot wrestle the way that we want to. They think they throw us off, but they can't, because we can control not only our wrestling, our minds, and our bodies at the same time. We work as one, a team in the ring.
All right, this week's fan question comes from Ray DiAriano of Hartford, Connecticut. He wants a brief opinion of each one of these wrestlers. Manny Fernandez first. Nikita?
I'm going into all wrestlers. Flair, Martel, American Dream, anybody. Koloff, soon be world champion. Soon.
Answers my question. The Road Warriors.
First of all, there's Manny Fernandez. He's a little bit crazy in head by the way he wrestles in there. He is a very strong wrestler, and it's people like this, one half of the World Tag Team Champion, that we have to defeat, and we are going to defeat.
What about the Road Warriors?
Road Warriors. This is first team, and we see over here, very impressive. Nikita has told me he would like nothing better to get a hold of these men and make example of them, and then all other teams would step aside. We would become world champions.
All right. Finally, the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. What do you think of him?
American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. Pah! Pah!
The Koloffs. Remember, if you have a question you'd like us to ask your favorite wrestler, send it to Pro Wrestling Illustrated, Box 48, Rockville Center, New York, 11571. If we use your question on the air, we'll send you absolutely free a Pro Wrestling Illustrated t-shirt. For Pro Wrestling Illustrated, this is Bill Apter. See you at the matches.
full, a 10-minute time limit. Introducing first, in the blue corner, the AWA heavyweight champion, weighing 238 pounds, here's Rick Martel. His opponent in the yellow corner, weighing 231 pounds, Joel Deaton. One fall, 10 minutes.
AWA champion now, Rick Martel, getting set to move out against Joel Deaton. One fall, 10-minute time limit. This is all part of the class of the 80s here on Pro Wrestling USA. Martel watches his man, locks up, collar and elbow, gets a side headlock. Good chain moves here by Martel as he goes into a hammerlock, but Deaton makes it to the ring ropes. That forces the break. This time it's Deaton getting the side headlock. Martel trying futilely to break free from it. Finally does, fires him off ropes. Deaton catches him, a good shoulder smash. Martel drops to the canvas. It's Deaton and a good leapfrog by Martel. Martel spin under takedown that has Deaton back to the canvas. Good shot there of Rick Martel, the AWA champion, and of course the challenge is out between Rick Martel, Ric Flair. Bob Backlund has thrown his hat in the ring along with Dusty Rhodes, the American Dream, and others. All looking to the Super Bowl of championship wrestling, pitting the AWA champion against the NWA champion. What a match that would be. Martel keeps the armbar now on Deaton. Martel, originally out of Canada. Deaton drives the knee to the midsection, and it is Deaton now trying to take advantage of a situation here, gets the side headlock. Martel has his problems. Good series of maneuvers there by Martel as he countered very nicely on Deaton. Has Deaton back to the canvas, underhooks the arm, brings him over into a lateral press. Deaton powers out. And so, Martel with a full arm drag and twist on Joel Deaton. I was talking to my good friend Vern Gagne about Rick Martel, and Vern told me, of course, Vern is a former AWA champion. He told me that of all of the champions that he's seen over the years, that certainly this young Rick Martel is one of the finest. Deaton breaks it up, and it's Martel, a spin under takedown that has Deaton back to the canvas. Martel drives the knee into the biceps and triceps of Joel Deaton. Inside armbar. Notice now that Deaton has been slowed, and he is obviously his thinking process has been slowed because it is Martel who seems to be taking advantage of the situation, but now Deaton coming in with the shoulder blocks to the midsection of Rick Martel. Rick Martel, the AWA champion. An Irish whip into the turnbuckle. And it is Deaton with a full body slam on Martel. Lateral press. Referee Fargo told the count, but it was not a 3 count. And so Martel coming up rather slowly as Deaton trying very desperately to turn the tide of this battle and turn it to his own advantage. Deaton now with a sort of a modified rear chin lock on Rick Martel, the AWA champion. Class of the 80s here today on Pro Wrestling USA. Don't forget, within the next couple of weeks, we're going to be bringing you some special features on Bob Backlund and the extensive youth work that he has done throughout the entire United States. A special feature coming up on Bob Backlund. Young fella out of Princeton, Minnesota. Twice National Collegiate Wrestling champion, former world champion. We'll be talking to Bob Backlund a little bit later on. Meanwhile, it's Martel now with a front face lock on Mr. Joel Deaton. So Martel now changing his strategy apparently and is now intent upon punishing Deaton. Our ringside cameraman, Jack Crockett, watching carefully and staying right with the action. There's one of those excellent close-ups, and you can see the way Martel has got Deaton's head clamped solidly into his body. It's Deaton now pushing him back into the ring ropes, using that shoulder block effectively. Irish whip, and Martel ducks away from it, ducks away again, in behind his man, brings him up. High atomic knee drop, and then a belly-to-back suplex on Deaton. Deaton came back on the back of his head, and it's Martel over that top rope, crashing down, all 240 pounds of him, scoring the pinfall. And so the AWA champion, Rick Martel, continues to keep his record absolutely unblemished. Great athlete, a great competitor. And it is Rick Martel, the champion of the AWA. And it's going to be curious to see how soon the challenge will be answered. We see the Super Bowl of wrestling, the NWA versus the AWA. Special now, because we've got a young man coming this way that I think you're going to be most impressed with. Magnum TA. That's right, Magnum TA. We have a very special video montage that we'd like to show you this time. It'll give you an idea of what kind of action you can expect when you see Magnum TA. Just issue a word of warning to such men as, well, Tully, Blanchard, Ivan Koloff, Nikita Koloff. You are just some of the targets that Mr. Magnum TA has in mind. So be watching for him. He's going to be here in the very, very near future. Right now, we're going to see the U.S. heavyweight champion in action. I'm referring, of course, to Wahoo McDaniels. Wahoo McDaniels will be taking on Lee Ramsey in a one-fall 10-minute match. So take a look at the screen, and we're going to see some great action.
This match is one fall, a 10-minute time limit. Introducing first in the blue corner, weighing in at 220 pounds, here's Lee Ramsey. Lee Ramsey. His opponent in the yellow corner, the United States heavyweight champion, weighing 270 pounds, Chief Wahoo McDaniel. Wahoo McDaniel, one fall, 10 minutes.
There's the bell. One fall, 10-minute time limit. U.S. heavyweight champion Wahoo McDaniel moving out against Lee Ramsey. Wahoo McDaniel, born in Texas, went to the University of Oklahoma, still holds a record at Oklahoma. There you have it. Beautiful Cornish hype by Wahoo McDaniel. Had that arm trapped at the time he took him over. Referee Tommy Young watching him now. There you see it. Perfect execution of a side chancery, a side headlock and chancery. Arm in the head, both trapped. Now he gets the arm away. Ramsey back to his feet. We're in the class of the 80s here on Pro Wrestling USA. Next week, some very, very special matches upcoming. McDaniel brings him up, a backbreaker on Ramsey. Caught him in the side of the rib cage, actually, rather than the back. And Ramsey now had that wind knocked out of him. He's coming up very slowly, and McDaniel, tomahawk chop into the top of the head. McDaniel in behind his man. Almost has him in a, well, it is a rear chin lock. It looked for a minute like he might be going for the Russian sickle, but did not. McDaniel is about as versatile an athlete as you'll find anywhere in the United States. He's done it all at one time or another in his career. Ramsey continually trapped in that rear chin lock. This will help cut off the circulation, the blood flow to the brain. It also helps to cut down on the breathing and air supply to the lungs of one Lee Ramsey. Wahoo McDaniel's hurdling Lee Ramsey through the ropes. And referee Tommy Young admonishing McDaniels for that tactic. Young advising him that that sort of thing is certainly not condoned. And McDaniel's almost in trouble here with the referee. Now, Tommy Young is a tough but very fair-minded official. McDaniel catching him again, another tomahawk chop to the top of the head. Irish whip off the ropes. Ooh, you could hear that chop all the way across the television sports arena. Got the 3 count. He got the 3 count. And so the U.S. heavyweight champion, Wahoo McDaniels, dispatching Lee Ramsey in almost record time, putting down this challenge. And so here on the class of 80s, the competition continues to be keen and strong. Watch McDaniels catch him with his chop. With me right now, Mr. Dick Slater and Mr. Bob Backlund. And gentlemen, I think we're seeing some great matches today.
Yeah, it's been sensational. You know, this is the hottest wrestling show there is in the country today, right here. I'd like to say something right now. You know, I'm standing next to a great man that's accomplished a great deal in professional wrestling. You know, Bob Backlund, I've held every regional title there is in professional wrestling, but I've never had the pleasure of holding the world's heavyweight champion like this man. And I know that Bob Backlund right now is on a quest for the world's heavyweight championship again. I'd like to wish you luck. I'd like to shake the man's hand. There's one thing I'd like to tell you, Bob. You know, I'm after the same thing. And every man in professional wrestling that's a great athlete should realize that the World's Heavyweight Championship is the epitome of all championships. And I know, Bob Backlund, that you and I have been friends for a numerous amount of years, but someday I'm going to have to climb in a ring with you, and someday you're going to have to put my back down to be able to accomplish the goal of being a World's Heavyweight Champion. Thank you.
Well, that's what competition's all about. You know, we can be friends out here, but when that bell rings, there's no friendship anymore. That's all business in that ring. That's how you get ahead. Friendships end. You go in there and you try to win any way you can. And he's a tough competitor. There's a lot of tough competitors, and this is one of the greatest hours in professional wrestling today with all these champions on it. And I would have liked to have been a part of that because I still feel like a champion, but they wouldn't let me come into this hour. They said, Bob Backlund, you have to prove yourself.
Thank you so very much, Bob Backlund. Well, in my book, he's still a champion, no question about that. We'll be back in just a moment. NWA World Heavyweight Wrestling Champion Ric Flair approaching the ring and getting set to do combat. He'll be going up against Tommy Lane. One fall with a 10-minute time limit. Of course, Ric Flair, 3 times World Heavyweight Champion, has defended that title all over the world. He's an outstanding competitor, and it's going to be interesting to see how well he does here today on the class of the 80s. Ric Flair goes into the ring. Let's turn it over to our ring announcer, Tony Schiavone.
This is a one-fall match at 10-minute time limit. Introducing first in the yellow corner, weighing at 226 pounds, here's Tommy Lane. Tommy Lane. And his opponent in the blue corner, the NWA World Heavyweight Champion, weighing 238 pounds, Nature Boy Ric Flair. One fall, 10 minutes.
Tommy Lane moving out against Ric Flair, and there you see the 10 pounds of gold around the waist of Ric Flair. The NWA World Heavyweight Championship belt, 10 pounds of gold and diamond studded. Over $25,000 in that belt alone. That means the difference in a professional wrestler's career of up to $500,000 a year. And very quickly, Lane, of course, realizes what a fantastic opportunity this is for himself. If he can hold the champion even to a draw, he has really accomplished something, and he'll move himself up on the ranks as contenders. Lane getting the side headlock on Flair. Flair, by the way, is NWA World Heavyweight Champion as a... Ooh, good shoulder smash by Lane. Flair drops to the canvas, and it's Flair leapfrogging up over his man, catches him a high hip toss. Flair now gets the side headlock on Lane. Off the ropes, Flair catches him, a good shoulder smash. That time it was Lane. High backdrop, and Flair coming up rather slowly. A good way to get a hip corner, I'll tell you that. Drop kick by Lane. Has Flair back to the canvas again, and brother Lane is really fired up. He wants a victory. That would put him in automatic #1 contention. Side headlock by Tommy Lane. Here on the class of the 80s, Pro Wrestling USA. Next week, Some more great matches are coming your way, so be sure and tune us in. We'll be seeing and hearing from such great stars as the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, Wahoo McDaniel, Tully Blanchard, the NWA TV champion. By the way, we'll see him in action a little bit later on. Flair throwing the rule book aside momentarily, and Flair now really punishing Lane. He is trying to take the steam out of this young fellow in a hurry. Flair off of those ropes, down across the head of Tommy Lane. Lane jarred forward. Flair has a habit of saying, and now we go to school. And just about the time that any opponent hears that, he knows that it's all but over. Flair pancakes his man right down to the canvas with a front chancery. You can hear Flair shouting to the crowd. And he is rather impervious to the reactions of the crowd. He is out there for one reason and one reason alone: to punish his opponent as hard and as quickly as he can. Lane fires back to the midsection. Flair a chop into the throat that drops Lane back to the canvas. And Flair hurdling Tommy Lane through the ring ropes. Referee Fargo warning Flair about those tactics. He could get himself disqualified. Flair, who even with the jet-set life that he leads, keeps himself in absolutely magnificent condition. I said earlier about this man, he was born with a silver spoon in his mouth, extremely wealthy parents. Had his choice. And he said that one is for New York City. Flair had his choice of a dozen colleges that wanted him on athletic scholarships. He chose the University of Minnesota, where he became the Minnesota State Heavyweight Wrestling Champion. Got his start, of course, with Vern Gagne and the AWA. Came to the NWA and eventually became the World Heavyweight Champion. And now, of course, with the unity of the AWA and the NWA, you're getting a chance to see all of these great athletes. Good move by Lane as the champion. But for a moment, he had a real upset in the making here, as Lane came at him with a partial vertical body block. Now Lane fires to the midsection. Wow. And it's Lane exploding with everything that he's got, and he has a champion back on the deck once again. So Mr. Lane, great second effort here. And it is Flair, hurdled over that top rope, down on the concrete outside the ring. And whether or not he's going to make it back in time for the 10 count, I just don't know. The count is on. Yes, Flair is making it back inside, but he's hurt and he's in trouble. And Lane may have something going here. Lane now punishing Flair. Flair a headbutt to the midsection. That doubles Lane over. Back to the canvas. Flair coming up rather slowly, but back on his feet. Another chop that you could hear ringing throughout the entire television sports arena. And it is Lane catching him in a high backdrop. Flair coming up in Lane. A rolling reverse has Flair in trouble. He's got him in a pinning combination. Count of two. A count of two, and it is Flair back on his feet once again. Flair trying to hook him, and it's Lane getting him into a backslide. Lane's got him down. Again, Flair barely able to pull away from it. And Lane has really got things going his way. Flair caught with a shoulder smash. Lane to his feet once again. Up and over Ric Flair. Flair caught him with an elbow coming off the ropes. And that stuns Lane. That took the wind out of his sails in a hurry. Flair closing in on him, brings him up a high vertical suplex. Keeps him there, and then full weight down on the canvas. And so Ric Flair now struts over the fallen Tommy Lane into the spinning toe hold, from there right into the figure four, perfectly executed. And so Ric Flair applies the figure four to Tommy Lane. Tommy Lane very quickly conceding. And so Ric Flair has pulled this one out, although Tommy Lane gave him more than a hard time throughout the entire balance of this match. An excellent match. Tommy Lane certainly acquitting himself in a marvelous fashion. And doggone near turned the trick on the World Heavyweight Champion Ric Flair. But the ultimate victory goes to the ultimate in professional wrestling, the NWA World Heavyweight Champion Ric Flair.
Blue corner, weighing in at 230 pounds, here is Sam Houston. Sam Houston. His partner, in at 240 pounds, here's Bret Hart. Bret Hart. Their opponents are the Mid-Atlantic Tag Team Champions. Introducing first, one half of the Long Riders, also the Mid-Atlantic Heavyweight Champion. Here is Cowboy Ron Bass. The other half of the Long Riders, Black Bart. They are accompanied by their manager, James J. Dillon. One fall, 10 minutes.
J.J. Dillon leaving the ring now as Black Bart and Cowboy Ron Bass, the Long Riders, the Mid-Atlantic Tag Team Champions, here on the class of the 80s, taking on Sam Houston and Bret Hart. And that's young Sam Houston out there right now against Black Bart. And Black Bart, the kind of a competitor who beats and pounds his way into a match. He is not long on finesse. You see again how J.J. Dillon constantly interferes. And he is being warned very quickly and severely by referee Tommy Young. Backbreaker on Houston. And this match may end before it really gets started. As Black Bart, totally and completely controlling young Sam Houston, now makes the tag with Cowboy Ron Bass. Bass, the bad man from Pampas, Texas. Look at this double teaming. Brother, both men down. And Bass didn't allow the pin. Bass obviously had a pin going there and did not allow it. Brings Houston back and hurdles him through the ring ropes once again. Watch J.J. Dillon. And you can see J.J. Dillon over there, and it is Bret Hart very quickly getting young Sam Houston away from that very, very difficult posture. Sam Houston slowly making his way back into the ring. And it's Black Bart and Cowboy Ron Bass. Again, they double team before the count. High vertical souffle by Black Bart. And again, they had the young fellow down where they could have pinned him, but instead they choose to continue the punishment. And this has to be at the urging and the direction of one J.J. Dillon. And Dillon getting some vicarious thrills here for himself. There's that rope wrapped around the neck of young Sam Houston. Ron Bass doesn't allow the pin. 3 times now they have not allowed the pin. And young Sam Houston needs to get over and tag up with Bret Hart. He's caught again. They have successfully blocked him from getting over to tag up. Sam Houston slowly trying to get back to his feet. And now Sam Houston dives through, gets over, makes the tag. It's Bret Hart charging into the ring, and Bret Hart exploding on Black Bart. Pounding away, but not to much avail. Full body slam by Black Bart. Black Bart crashes down across the chest of Bret Hart. Makes the tag with the Cowboy Ron Bass. Cowboy Ron Bass brings him up. There's that Oklahoma Stampede running power slam. A full count on Bret Hart. A count of 3, the Mid-Atlantic Tag Team Champions, victorious over this team of Sam Houston and Bret Hart. J.J. Dillon in the ring, extremely pleased with his 2 men. And here you'll see the beginning of the end for this tag team combination as Black Bart and Cowboy Ron Bass continue to rule the tag team competition.
One fall, television time remaining for the NWA television title and $10,000. Introducing first, the challenger, the Universal Heavyweight Champion, weighing 220 pounds. Here is Carlos Cologne. And now the NWA television champion, weighing 236 pounds, Tully Blanchard. For the television title and $10,000, time remaining.
One fall. Time remaining now. The NWA Television Championship on the line. Tully Blanchard defending that title against Carlos Cologne. Interestingly now, because Carlos Cologne is the Universal Heavyweight Champion. He's out of San Juan, Puerto Rico. One of the most fluid competitors I've ever seen, and there's a beautiful example of that. A great spin under takedown by Cologne, and Blanchard very quickly complaining to the referee that there was nothing wrong with what Cologne did. He caught him by the arm, not by the trunks. Referee Fargo is going to have his hands full because Blanchard is one of the most devious competitors in the sport today. Another beautiful wing over that time by Carlos Cologne. And then again, Blanchard complaining. Blanchard is a psychological master in the ring. He will press every advantage possible, gets the side headlock. Top wrist lock now. And it is Blanchard who's taken to the canvas by Carlos Cologne. Blanchard gets a foot on the ropes. That causes the break. Cologne was very wary of him, however. Both men exceptionally fast. Blanchard will try and psych his opponent out. He'll insult him verbally. Drives the knee to the midsection, then the elbow rabbit punch to the back of the head into a hip lock takedown. Keeping the head scissors, and again, Blanchard utilizing those ring ropes. That'll force the break. So Blanchard has been on the break. It's Blanchard coming down across the femoris muscles of Carlos Cologne. Single leg pickup. And again, punishing those quadricep femoris muscles. And so Mr. Cologne may be having some problems with that left leg if and when he regains his feet. Now, Mr. Cologne just gave Mr. Blanchard another lesson. Blanchard backing away into the corner. Blanchard out of West Texas State was a quarterback for their football team. More world champions have come out of West Texas State than any other institute of higher learning in the country. 3 world champions have come out of there. Dory Funk Jr., Terry Funk, and the American Dream. What is his name? Dusty Rhodes. We saw Dusty at the beginning of the program. He and, of course, Manny Fernandez, the Raging Bull, are the World Tag Team Champions. I have a hunch that Dusty is watching this program right now and heard me... Carlos Cologne caught him, and Tully Blanchard has left the ring. Blanchard. You can hear the hoots and the cries of the crowd. They are not very happy with Tully Blanchard. But one thing you must say about the man, through devious means or otherwise, he has maintained that NWA Television Championship, and that $10,000 challenge has yet to be met successfully by anyone. Cologne stalking him. Blanchard meets him head on, collar and elbow. Cologne pulls him back into the turnbuckle. And it's Blanchard that time uncorking a hard right hand. A rear chin lock now by Blanchard. Now belly to back suplex by Tully Blanchard. He went back to the basics in a hurry, and Cologne powers out before the count. And it's Blanchard now into a rear chin lock. Blanchard really beginning to mount more and more pressure on Carlos Cologne, but he's faced pressure all of his life. Cologne is going to be hard-pressed here. He's looking at that $10,000 and that NWA championship, and he uses those elbows very effectively. A good shoulder smash by Cologne as he comes off the ropes. Rolling reverse by Cologne. Blanchard catches him, however. A hard right hand to the side of the head, and another one right square in the eye. And Mr. Cologne has got some problems now. Referee Fargo down there checking those shoulders, a 2 count. And again, Tully Blanchard goes into a rear chin lock. Here in the class of the 80s, thus far today, You have seen the AWA heavyweight champion, Rick Martel, the NWA world heavyweight champion, Ric Flair. You've seen the Mid-Atlantic Tag Team Champions, and now you're seeing the Universal Heavyweight Champion, Carlos Cologne, and the NWA Television Champion, Tully Blanchard. Top wrist, aha, Blanchard got that extra leverage that time, pulling at the tights of Carlos Cologne. And Blanchard denying, of course, to the referee that he did anything that was out of the ordinary. And when you stop to think about Blanchard's techniques and his methodology in the ring, what he did then was not out of the ordinary at all. He is a confirmed rule breaker, no question about it. Blanchard drives that knee, now an inverted press. Again, Cologne powers out. Be that as it may about Tully Blanchard, I'll tell you one thing. Nobody can take away from him the fact that he is an outstanding athlete. He is a thinking man's wrestler. There's no question about that. All right, watch Cologne now. Let's see how he's going to escape and counter if he can. Cologne back to his feet. Trying to hook an arm or a hand. Now he's going to forearms into the side of the rib cage of Tully Blanchard. And now it's Cologne using that right hand very effectively, and then a headbutt that drives Blanchard into the ring ropes. And Blanchard's head is bobbing and weaving. He's in trouble. Blanchard rocked and rolled again. And it could be that Carlos Cologne is just a heartbeat away from picking up $10,000. As Cologne caught him in a high backdrop. It's Blanchard back to the canvas once again. Referee Fargo watching around, and it's Cologne explodes with another looping right hand. Another one to the side of the head that puts the television champion back up against the ropes. An Irish whip that has Tully Blanchard staggered, and Cologne drives the knee home. It is Carlos Cologne with another hard right hand to the head. Carlos Cologne up on that second ring rope. And now pounding away at the head of Tully Blanchard. The NWA television champion has indeed perhaps met his match right now. Only a 3 count is separating Carlos Cologne from the NWA Television Championship and $10,000. Cologne catches him again, and Blanchard now dazed, staggered, swinging wildly. It's Cologne catching him once again. Cartwheels off to one side, drives home a hard right hand, and Blanchard, all but out on his feet, is now driven back to the canvas once again. Blanchard badly lacerated now, and Carlos Cologne, seizing that opportunity, issues more punishment to that already lacerated area of the head of one Tully Blanchard. Blanchard into those ropes, crawling through those ropes, and is outside the ring. Blanchard is a desperate man at this point in time. The NWA Television Championship on the line, plus $10,000. And a high vertical suplex by Carlos Cologne has Blanchard all but out on the ring. Blanchard caught again and drops back to the canvas. Carlos Cologne brings him back to his feet. Cologne, Blanchard hanging on for dear life. Cologne, and a reversal here by Blanchard. Leapfrog by Cologne. Cologne tries, into that rope. Into the rope, and it is, look at Blanchard reaching for extra leverage on that second rope. He's reaching for extra leverage on that second rope, and whether or not that was caught, apparently it was by the referee. The referee has caught it. The match is over. Blanchard disqualified, but it's not over as far as Carlos Cologne is concerned. He wants to avenge himself. He wants some honor and justice done here, and that's exactly what he feels he's going to get now as he continues to move against Tully Blanchard. Tully Blanchard, the NWA television champion, maintains his championship, but brother, I'll tell you what, he's paying a price for it now. He's paying in poundage. Carlos Cologne pounding at him with everything that he's got. And you can see there the expression of the wrestling fans of how they feel about this man, Blanchard, who has managed to hold on to that title, but that's about all. Blanchard now beating a hasty retreat. And so the Universal Heavyweight Champion, Carlos Cologne, standing alone in the ring, denied in his quest of gaining the NWA Television Championship and that $10,000. But Mr. Tully Blanchard knows that he was in a war that he'll never forget, and that a fellow like Carlos Cologne is not done with him yet. Carlos Cologne will be back after Tully Blanchard, no question about it. But here we see exactly as the situation started, and, well, eventually Tully Blanchard reached up, grabbed that ring rope, and that caused a disqualification. We'll be back. Has joined us at the close of this hour. And, brother, what an hour this has been.
God, this has been one of the most tremendous hours the wrestling ever witnessed, because this was truly the class of the 80s. This is what Major League Professional Wrestling is all about. You've seen the greatest title holders in this country and throughout this world, the Universal Champion, Cologne, and my minister self, Nature Boy, Ric Flair, and sometime the Big Apple and the northern states and the western states will see the clash of Dusty Rhodes and Ric Flair for that world's heavyweight title. Me and Manny Fernandez have a long road ahead of us defending the world's tag team title. Many great teams that are involved in this tremendous undertaking by professional wrestling promoters. And Dusty Rhodes, the American Dream, the Tower Power, the man that can do for you what needs to be done, is always ready to defend any title. But one thing I do want, like I said, is a shot at Ric Flair's NWA title. And I don't care if it's in Yankee Stadium. That's fine with me, Garden.
Well, I can certainly understand that. Of course, you've got a couple of fellas I can think of right away that are after you very, very badly, and that's Ivan and Nikita Koloff.
Ivan and Nikita Koloff. Nikita Koloff, probably one of the most powerful men in the world, one of the most powerful athletes in the world. And Ivan Koloff is a powerful athlete, and the Russians are powerful. So me and Manny Fernandez, the Raging Bull, have to deal with the situation at hand, defending the titles against all comers, no matter who they are, where they are, because this is the class of the 80s, and we are the class of the 80s. Everybody that holds a major title that's been on this program, all the class of the 80s. And I'm looking real forward to seeing my good friend and great athlete himself, Bob Backlund, in weeks to come, and next week with a very special on him working with the kids, and the kids that mean so much to Bob Backlund means so much to Dusty Rhodes, the American Dream, because, baby, they're our future, and we're going to help them every way we can.
Till next week, so long.
Night at 8.